I thought silence was strength. Until my sister looked me in the eye and said, "You owe this family $7,200. And I smiled, picked up my phone, and made one call that unraveled 4 years of lies she didn't even know she was living. That call wasn't to my bank. It wasn't to my husband. It was to someone Patricia had no idea I'd been talking to for 4 years. Someone who was about to answer on speaker in front of the entire family. My name is Margaret Holloway. I'm 58 years old, and for most of my life, I have been the person people call when something needs to be fixed quietly. Not loudly. Not with credit. Just fixed. I didn't know that night at dinner would be the night everything changed. I thought it was just another Sunday. We were at my brother's house. Pot roast, the good tablecloth, my mother sitting at the head of the table the way she always did before things got complicated. My sister Patricia was talking the way she always talked, filling the room before anyone else could get a word in. "So I've been looking at venues for Ashley's Sweet 16, she said, not looking up from her phone. "The Magnolia Room is available in October. It's perfect. It's just going to run about $7,200 all in." She said it the way you'd mention the weather. Then she looked at me. "Margaret, I was thinking you could cover it. You know how tight things are for us right now, and you've always been good about this kind of thing." The table went quiet in that specific way a room goes quiet when everyone already knows the answer but nobody wants to be the one to say it first. I felt my son Daniel shift beside me. He's 26, and even he knew Mom always pays for everything. That's the story in this family. That's the role I've played so well for so long that nobody stopped to ask what it might be costing me. I opened my mouth. I almost told her right there at that table, with the pot roast getting cold and my mother's eyes on me. I could have told them everything. But I'd made a promise. Not to my sister. Not to my brother. To someone else entirely. And I don't break promises, even when keeping them costs me my reputation at my own family's dinner table. So instead I just said, "Let me think about it." Patricia's face did something complicated. Not quite annoyed. Not quite suspicious. Just confused like I'd spoken a foreign language. "Think about it?" "Margaret, it's Ashley's 16th birthday." "I heard you," I said. I said I'd think about it. I excused myself to the kitchen before anyone could see my hands shaking. Here's what nobody at that table knew. 4 years earlier, on a gray Tuesday in March, I sat in a small office with beige walls and a box of tissues nobody had touched in a while, and I signed my name on a document that would quietly reshape the next 4 years of my life. I didn't tell Patricia. I didn't tell my brother. I made a decision that day alone in that office, and I have kept it to myself every single day since. 4 years earlier, everything changed, but nobody in my family knew it yet. And that Sunday night, standing in my brother's kitchen with my hands pressed flat against the cold counter, I realized I was running out of road. The silence I'd built so carefully was starting to crack. People think keeping a secret is one hard moment. It's not. It's 1,000 small moments every single day, where you choose the lie of omission over the relief of the truth. Here is what my days actually looked like in the years nobody was watching closely enough to notice. Every month on the 3rd, a payment left my account. $2,400. I'd set it up as an automatic transfer years ago, under a name that meant nothing to anyone who might glance at my banking app over my shoulder. I called it Household Maple ST. Nobody in my family knew what that meant, and nobody asked because nobody looked. I stopped buying new clothes. I kept driving the same car 4 years past when I should have traded it in. I told people I was simplifying, that I'd read some book about minimalism, that I just didn't need much anymore. They believed me. Why wouldn't they? I'd never given them a reason not to. One afternoon, Patricia stopped by unannounced. She does that, treats my house like an extension of her own, and I was sitting at my kitchen table with a bank statement spread out in front of me, doing the math I did every month, trying to make sure there was enough left over for everything else. I heard her key in the door before I could move. I folded the statement in half, then in half again, and slid it under a magazine just as she walked in. "What's that?" she asked, nodding at the magazine. "Just bills," I said. "Nothing exciting." She didn't push. Why would she? In her mind, I was the sister who had things handled. I was the sister with the paid-off house and the extra money and the quiet, comfortable life. She had no reason to imagine that underneath that magazine was a number that would have changed the entire conversation we were about to have. I need to tell you something about Patricia. Because I don't want you to think she's a villain in this story. She isn't. She's just someone who believed a story about me that I let her believe. In Patricia's mind, our mother was fully taken care of. She genuinely thought, and I want to be clear, she wasn't lying, she wasn't performing ignorance. She genuinely believed Medicaid was covering everything at the facility. She'd heard that phrase once years ago from a friend whose parent had a similar situation, and she'd simply assumed it applied to us too. She never checked. She never asked. And I never corrected her because correcting her meant opening a door I wasn't ready to open. I remember her saying to her husband once within earshot, not realizing I could hear her from the hallway, "Mom's taken care of, right? So Margaret doesn't really have anything else going on financially. She's fine. She's fine." I stood in that hallway and let her believe it because the alternative felt unbearable, a conversation about money, about fairness, about who was doing what, while our mother was still adjusting to a life she never wanted in a room that wasn't her home. I wasn't protecting a secret. I was protecting her from what the secret would have made her feel. There was a moment about 8 months before that dinner when I almost lost control of the story entirely. I'd stopped by the facility on my way home from work, Golden Oak Residence, room 114, and I was signing the visitor log when one of the nurses, a woman named Carol who'd known me for years by then, called out across the lobby without thinking, "Margaret, we got that payment sorted for next month, no issues on our end." I froze. Patricia was standing right there. She'd come separately to drop off a birthday card for our mother, and our visits had overlapped by nothing more than bad timing. "Payment?" Patricia said, turning to me. "What payment?" For a second I thought the truth was going to come out 4 years too early, in a hallway that smelled like disinfectant and old coffee, with absolutely none of the context that might have made it land the right way. "Oh, just some paperwork stuff," I said quickly, waving a hand like it was nothing. "You know how these places are, always something to sign." Carol, God bless her, caught the look on my face half a second too late to stop talking, but just in time to not make it worse. She smiled and said something vague about administrative things, and Patricia, thankfully, mercifully, let it go. But I sat in my car in that parking lot for almost 20 minutes afterward, gripping the steering wheel, asking myself the question I'd been avoiding for 4 years. How much longer could I actually do this? The night of Patricia's phone call, the one demanding the $7,200 for Ashley's party, I sat alone in my living room afterward, staring at nothing. I thought about finally telling her. I actually opened our text thread and started typing, "Patricia, there's something about Mom's care that I need to explain to you." I stared at those words for a long time. Then I deleted them. Not because I was afraid of the truth. Because I was afraid of what would happen after the truth. The guilt on her face, the apologies, the way it would turn every future conversation into something heavy. I didn't want to be right. I didn't want to win. I just wanted to keep doing what I'd been doing quietly, without anyone making it a whole thing. But some decisions get made for you whether you're ready or not. 3 days later, Patricia called again. Same request. Same tone, like she was reminding me of something I'd simply forgotten, not something I'd never agreed to. "So, did you think about it?" she asked. "I need to put the deposit down by Friday." And something in me, some wire that had been fraying quietly for 4 years, finally gave. "We should talk about this in person," I said. "This weekend. Everyone. Margaret, it's a birthday party, not a family summit." "This weekend," I said again. "I'll explain everything then." I hung up before she could argue. We gathered at my house that Saturday, my mother, brought over by my brother for the afternoon, Patricia and her husband, Daniel, my son, sitting quietly in the corner like he already sensed this wasn't going to be a normal visit. Patricia started before I'd even finished pouring the coffee. "So, are you doing the venue or not? Because if this is about money, Margaret, I don't understand. You've never had trouble helping before. What's different now?" There it was. The exact sentence I'd been dreading, and somehow also the sentence that finally made this easy. "You're right," I said. "I have always helped. I just don't think you know what helping has actually looked like for me these last 4 years." Patricia's eyebrows drew together. "What does that mean?" "It means I want to show you something," I said. "Not tell you. Show you." I picked up my phone. I dialed a number Patricia had never seen in my contacts, saved simply as door billing, a name that meant nothing to anyone in that room except me. I put it on speaker and set the phone on the coffee table between us. It rang twice. Golden Oak Residence, Billing Department. This is Renee. Hi Renee, it's Margaret Holloway. I wanted to confirm something for my family. Could you tell me the current monthly amount on my mother's account, and how long that arrangement has been active? There was a brief pause, the sound of typing. Of course. Current monthly payment is $2,400, and that arrangement has been active for 4 years this March, under your name as primary payer. The room did not make a sound. I looked up. Patricia's face had gone through 3 different expressions in the space of about 2 seconds: confusion, disbelief, and something that looked almost like the floor dropping out from under her. Thank you, Renee, that's all I needed, I said, and ended the call. Silence sat in that living room like a fourth guest. Patricia's mouth opened. Nothing came out for a moment. Then finally, in a voice much smaller than the one she'd used on the phone 3 days earlier, "Why didn't you tell me? I want to be honest with you about why. Not the noble version. The real one. Because I didn't want thanks," I said. And I didn't want to fight about money while Mom was still in there adjusting to a life she never asked for. I didn't want every visit to turn into a conversation about who's paying what. I just wanted to handle it. For 4 years. Patricia's voice cracked. "You've been paying $2,400 a month for 4 years and you never said anything?" "I sold Robert's boat the second year," I said. And I felt my own voice go unsteady saying my late husband's name in that context. I pushed my retirement back by 3 years. I stopped buying anything I didn't absolutely need. Not because I was struggling to survive, I was fine, but because I made a choice and I didn't want anyone to try to talk me out of it or feel guilty about it or turn it into something it wasn't. My brother, who had been quiet this whole time, finally spoke. "I had no idea, Margaret. I thought." "I know what everyone thought," I said gently, "because none of this was really their fault. You thought Mom's care was covered. You thought I had it easy financially because I never said otherwise. I let you all believe that. That's on me as much as it's on anyone." Patricia stood up. Her hands were pressed against her face, and for a moment I genuinely didn't know which way this was going to go. Whether she was about to apologize, or whether embarrassment was about to turn into something sharper, something defensive. She didn't say anything else. She walked out onto my back porch and closed the door behind her. The room sat in silence. I didn't know if I'd just lost my sister, or finally found her. 20 minutes passed. My mother reached over and took my hand quietly, the way she used to when I was small and upset about something I didn't have words for yet. She didn't say anything either. She didn't have to. When Patricia came back inside, her eyes were red, and she was holding her phone. "I called them," she said. "Golden Oak. I asked them to walk me through the whole billing history myself from the beginning." "Patricia, you didn't have to." "I did," she said. "Because I needed to hear it from someone who wasn't you so I'd actually believe it, and not just tell myself it was some misunderstanding I could smooth over." She sat back down across from me, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, my sister looked at me without any performance in her face at all. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry, Margaret. I told myself a story that made things easy for me, and I never once checked if it was true because checking would have meant I had to do something about it. I won't tell you it fixed everything instantly because that wouldn't be true and I don't think you believe me anyway. But something did shift that day, permanently. Within a week, Patricia had called Golden Oak herself and set up a standing contribution. Not the full amount, we agreed that wasn't necessary or realistic for her family, but a real meaningful share. My brother did the same. For the first time in 4 years, the weight I'd been carrying alone had actual hands helping to hold it. Patricia started visiting our mother more, not out of guilt, but because she told me the visits felt different once she understood what our mother's life there had actually cost. Not just financially, but the version of independence our mother had quietly given up. About a month later, we sat together in my mother's room at Golden Oak, the 3 of us, and my mother, who doesn't miss much even now, looked between her daughters and said, "It's nice to see you two in the same room without it being complicated." Patricia laughed, a real laugh, and reached over and squeezed my hand. "It's not complicated anymore," she said. "It's just late. But it's not complicated. I used to think silence was strength. I thought carrying things alone, quietly, without complaint was what made me reliable, what made me good. I thought if I just kept absorbing things, kept fixing them without being asked, that was love. I don't think that anymore. Now I know strength is knowing when to finally speak. Not to punish anyone. Not to win an argument. Just to let the people who love you actually see what you've been carrying so they have the chance to help carry it too. That's not weakness. That never was weakness. It just took me 4 years and one phone call to finally believe it. If you've ever been the one who quietly carried everything while everyone else got the credit, comment "I know that feeling" below. And if you believe silence isn't weakness, it's strength waiting for the right moment. Hit subscribe because next week's story might just be your story.